All right, everybody, welcome NorCal Sports Network. Giants are locked up in a tight one, 5-5, top of the 10th. 3-2 to Conforto with men in scoring position first and second with the Ghost Runners. Casey Schmidt still on second. So here comes the 3-2 pitch to Conforto. He swung on and missed, struck him out swinging, and we go to the bottom of the 10th here, everybody. Giants are going to lose this game, it looks like. And this would be a disaster. This would be a disaster, guys. Giants were up 5-1. I was like, I got to get my second shower of the day. You know, at 5-1. I got the show starting at 9:45 originally. And I come back 10 minutes later. It's 5-5, and I'm watching, and they got first and second, nobody out. And Ryan Walker comes in to save the game. That guy's Superman. Ryan Walker is nasty, filthy, disgusting. What other adjectives can we throw out about Ryan Walker? Man, goes 2 innings and shuts him down. Unbelievable. Let me see my, hold on here a second. I got to turn my phone off. I'm going to get blown up. I'm getting texts left and right, people calling me. Shohei went deep tonight with a walk-off grand slam for his 40th homer. Also stole a base in the game. 40-40 for Shohei Ohtani. He's on my fantasy club thanks to a partner who traded with me in the fantasy. The name will go, I'll keep the name silent from the NorCal Sports League to protect the innocent, because I robbed, I got Shohei Ohtani, and who else did I get in that deal? Spencer Steer, Blake Snell. This guy propelled me to the top of the fantasy baseball league. I got to thank him, but we'll not name him just to protect the innocent, because that was a heist of a trade for me. But Shohei, 40-40, what a night. I think he just wrapped up the MVP for the National League. So, I mean, I guess his next closest competitor might be Ketel Marte, who's also on my fantasy team. And who else is playing well in the National League? Francisco Lindor. He's doing pretty well too. So he's right up there. Okay, Giants, Mariners are up. Eric Miller's on the mound. His first pitch with the runner off second. They try to maybe bunt him over, but it's outside, 1-0. And guys, we'll be going to this Giants. When this Niners game ends, it was 24-21. I'm not looking right now because it's in the other room, and it was be going live on there. They're going to try and bunt him over. Oh, just outside, but they called a strike. Laz Diaz being generous tonight with the strike zone. It goes both ways too, Dave. So Dave Fleming getting upset with all the calls that go against the Giants, but Giants just got a break there. Okay, he squares the bunt again. It's outside, but he went with it. He didn't take the bat back. Josh Rojas, 1-2. Will they continue to bunt with 1-2, or will they take it off? Oh yeah, Rojas lunged at it. This is big play here, because if they don't get him over to third, the 1-2 pitch. Oh, just outside. I got to listen to Fleming on that. Hold on. Okay, I got to make sure we don't hear the volume here. Okay, here comes a 2-2 pitch to Rojas. He fouls it off. Still, count remains 2-2. Guys, this game looked like Giants all the way. I had it 5-1 Seattle tonight, but it was 5-1 Giants until the bottom of the 8th. But Ramos and Conforto with big home runs tonight. Here comes the 2-2 pitch from Miller. He looks at second. He winds, he delivers, swung on and missed, struck him out swinging. That's a that's what they call an unproductive at bat by Josh Rojas. Couldn't get him over to third, and Miller struck him out on a high fastball at 99 miles an hour. So it is still runner on second, though, scoring position, guys. Giants, if they can pull this one off, and this would be big. They need this win in a huge way because the Atlanta Braves did lose tonight. The Atlanta Braves won tonight, and the Mets lost. Here's the pitch. Oh, he's trying to go to third. He's safe. He got it. Okay, Eric Miller. That's tough. Lefties, they got to wheel around and do a 360 to throw him out or, to try and pick him off second. He stole third. So, and he didn't get the greatest jump. He kind of hesitated. But it looks like he got his hand in there. Let's see. Here's the replay. His hand is definitely in there. Did it come off the bag? Maybe briefly the palm, just like this, but that just destroys the spirit of the rule. They're reviewing it. Oh, wow. I don't like this rule where they keep the tag on and the guy comes off. He beat the throw. We got to see this. Hold on. I gotta hear this. I don't want. I don't think you can overturn it. Hold on, guys. I'll be right back. I got to check something out here. I hear there's 7 seconds left on the TV of the 49er game. I got to see what's going on. Be right back. Okay, the call stands. He's safe at third. 1 out. Mariners just need a sac fly. 49ers, Raiders are tied up at 24 with 7 seconds to go. It looks like we had a roughing the passer penalty. So the Niners are trying to get into field goal range to win it as a walk-off. I don't think they'll play overtime anyway in preseason. All right, 0-1. Giants got the infield in. I'm surprised they don't bring in 5 infielders, someone to cover up the middle with less than 2 out. Okay, it's an 0-2 pitch. It's 0-2 to Rivas. Miller winds and throws. Oh, just low. 1-2, just low. Wow, that was close. Oh, final play of the game. Could be the final play of both games here. I got to go in. Okay, here comes the 1-2 pitch. I got to run to the TV after this. Fouled off. I'll be right back. What an ending of the 49er game. Fumblerooski. They were pitching it back and forth, and a lineman almost got it in across the end zone. The 2-2 pitch. Base hit to Guaco. The Mariners have beaten the Giants 6-5. It's over. The Giants have just lost in an incredible comfort behind victory for the Seattle Mariners and their new manager, Dan Wilson. Wow. Giants lose 6-5. Ladies and gentlemen, let me come right back. I've got something. I need to get a prop here. I will be right back. All right, Mariners. Do I have any volume, or am I just talking to myself? Okay. Am I okay? Guys, crazy night. I'm watching 49er football. I got to go on to that show. I'm watching Giants. And look at this, guys. Stick a fork in the San Francisco Giants. Put a fork in them. The Giants are done. It's over. It's over for 2024 season. They are now 5 back of the Atlanta Braves, 6 in the loss column. That one hurts, as they say in the chat. Put the fork in it, says Abilene. Yes. Wow. I did not expect that after I took a shower. I went 5-1, bottom of the 8th. I got to hurry. Let me go get my shower. And what do you know? The Giants blow it. And the question of the night is, did Bob Melvin leave Tyler Rogers in the game too long? And earlier in the game, Landon Roop was coming into, or Jordan Hicks was coming in to pitch. He warmed up, and he ended up not able to pitch. He probably, I don't know if he hurt himself, but if he did, hopefully he didn't, but I haven't heard word yet. But it's something that I predicted on NorCal Sports. In fact, we predicted it early on when they signed him. They're going to ruin him in this. Hey, guys, I laid this out. I said they're going to ruin Jordan Hicks. They're going to use him as a starter. He's not going to be able to be effective after he gets to too many innings. And sure enough, it looks like they've destroyed Jordan Hicks. His arm was wiped out. So Giants lose. And guys, it looks like, let me see what, hold on here. I got to check my other chat here. Make sure that show has not started. It is set to, let me look at it here. One sec, guys. I apologize. I got too much going here with 49ers Giants tonight. And I just got to see what time the show is set for. Upcoming 10:15. Okay. It's probably going to be going any minute. So who wants to come in and run this Giants show tonight? Lou? Come on in, Lou, and I'm going to send you this link, Lou. You come in, run the Giants show. So everybody who wants to watch the Giants, I'll run over and do the Giant. We'll have the 49ers on this show as well. I got to check with my team here. Do we even have a thumbnail up for tonight's 49er game? Let me look. Let me look. Come on. Hold on. Guys. Hold on. Dang it. Oh, we don't even have a thumbnail up, guys. We need a thumbnail for the 49ers to run on our show. Got it. Hold on. Hold on a sec, guys. No, I don't have a thumbnail. I don't have a thumbnail for the 49ers. How can I run the 49ers show on this? Hold on. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm doing too many things at once here. Maybe we won't be running the 49ers on this show tonight. I'm going to text Lou and I'm going to leave. I've got Lou, I'm going to send you the link. Hold on. Let me get it in here. Invite guest, copy. Sorry, guys, for the dead air here. Lou, I just sent you an email. Go ahead and get the link. When you come in, I will leave. Guys, this was a disaster tonight, an absolute disaster for the Giants. So I'm just looking here through the chat. We got 150 in here right now. You know, MF, that's a great point. I would fire him tonight. Sure, the Seattle Mariners did. Winning teams don't wait around. Winning organizations don't wait around. Giants want to make a statement. Ownership, this is the worst loss of the season. I would just, bam, fire his butt right now. You know, I'd like to see Melvin run the team for the final 32 games. I'd like to see him. I'd like to see him do it. And here's Lou. All right, Lou. Thanks, man. All right. Well, Lou, what do you got to say? Go ahead.
You know, I think it's, again, I still have never seen a team with games go to extra innings that don't score the ghost run. Again, tonight, they didn't score. And what happens? The other team goes down. They try to bunt. They use their speed, and they win on a single.
Yeah,
Basic baseball. We've been talking about this, Dan, for the last 3 or 4 weeks. I think what the Giants, Farhan and Melvin, need to do is watch the Little League World Series. Watch how they react, where they play. You know, it's just embarrassing. You know, and the other thing, too, is, you know, I know Rodgers has had a good year, but you could tell he couldn't get anybody out. It's sort of the old Rodgers from 2 years ago where he was trying to close and he got blasted. And the other thing is, again, no one knows their roles for our team. Nobody knows our roles. We know who our closer is, but nobody knows who's coming in the 5th, the 6th, and 7th. You know, I think it's come to a point now where Melvin has no clue how to run the bullpen. We've been talking about it, and tonight was a fact. You know, and why do you bring in Miller again after what happened his last start?
I think they just their bullpen is shot.
Okay, but you got to remember, it was 2 days ago. Miller came in, couldn't get anybody out. What happens tonight? Same thing. I mean, I don't understand it. Now, you know, the Giants, again, are going with their 2 aces, which is fine. But when you can't add on, especially on the road, you don't win, Dan. It's pretty simple.
Right.
You know, I mean, Ryan, you bring up a good point. You bring in Bivens, but you got to remember, Bivens is the one that got blasted in the 9th. You know, Bivens and Miller aren't 9th or extra inning guys. You know, it takes a lot when you're either trying to get a save or to extend the game. You know, we're bringing guys in. You know, I'm sick of these excuses. Melvin does this all the time. You know, I don't know how everybody else feels, but it's just getting to the point now where these are games the Giants have to win. You know, Seattle was down 5-1, got swept by the Dodgers, have lost 6 out of 7, and we can't close the deal. Then we don't deserve to be in the playoffs, Dan. Oh, Dan,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They don't deserve to be in the playoffs. This team is it's just awful, Lou. I mean, you can't lose 5-1 down in the bottom of the 8th.
And it's the 8th inning. It wasn't like it was the 6th. And by the way, tonight, before everyone says how great the young stud did, he was in trouble. I mean, Seattle only had 2 hits through 5, but every time I looked up at the game, they had runners at 2nd and 3rd, runners at 1st and 3rd. You know, I mean, the Giants got lucky early. I believe it was the 4th and 5th inning on a simple fly ball where we almost dropped it. Do you remember that, Dan, with 2 outs? I believe it was a 3rd or 4th.
Yes,
you know?
Exactly.
You know, with Fitzgerald and, you know, Mr. Stud. I'm also, I mean, I'm getting a little sick and tired about how great everyone thinks Kratman is. I mean, these guys are talking like he's better than Buster was as a catcher and a hitter. It's like, come on, guys. And now you get all these articles. Oh, the Giants are now worried he's going to walk. Well, he's going to walk. We've talked about this on NorCal Sports and Snell. And then next year, we're going to be stuck with the same piece of crap team, but only a year older. I don't, that's a good looking hat.
Yeah. I forgot to put this one on here. I was, I put this one on because we didn't know who was going to win. I thought, I thought, 8th inning, definitely be wearing this. But as I said, Lou, I don't know if you saw it. It's time
I did see that. Oh, yeah.
Put a fork in the Giants. Right there, a big fork. Right through the SF. Right through the heart of the Tenderloin District. Bing.
I mean, I don't know what's worse.
Jeez.
Trying to watch a preseason game where it ends up in a tie. I feel bad for all the people from the Bay Area that went up. But, again, the third, and we'll talk about the 49er game later. Right now we got to talk about what happened tonight where, the other thing too is we know how important the game is because Atlanta already won.
Right.
It's the same thing on Wednesday. When we get these games where the teams you're trying to chase either win or lose, it's either an opportunity to gain a game or we need to stick where it is. But here's the other thing. Not only did you lose another game, it's another game in the schedule. So I think that's the big key. You guys got to realize this. The Giants are down to, I think there's 32 games left in the season. And Dan keeps bringing this up. We're at 6 behind, but I think it's 7.
7 now. The Braves have to lose 7 more than the Giants.
Tiebreakers. I mean,
not going to happen. Not going to happen.
No.
Look, the Braves did what they. Here's the difference between the Braves and the Giants. Braves come to San Francisco, a game and a half on the Giants, up. Giants could actually overtake them by winning 3 of 4.
Yep.
But the opposite happened. The Braves win 3 of 4, and then the Giants get the White Sox, or the A's and the White Sox, and they split with the A's and win only 2 of 3 against the White Sox, while the Phillies and the Braves are playing. The Braves take 2 of 3 from the Phillies. Look, it's just the difference between a winning organization and not a winning organization. It starts at the top, and Andropoulos knows how to put together a winning organization. The Braves are used to winning. The Giants are not, period. The last time the Giants had a winning season besides 2021 was 2016. We're in 2024.
I'm sorry. What, 2016?
That was the last winning season besides 2021. So you've had 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, and now 24. 7 out of the last 8 seasons, the Giants are going to miss the playoffs.
And Dan, the other thing too that I talked about on this show is the Giants' record in the second half of the season since 2014, when we went to the playoffs, where we barely got in. We made the playoffs, in 2015? Yeah, so it's been 9 years. We've only had 1 winning second half of the season. That's why I don't understand someone like Farhan, where we have had such a bad record of the second half of the season, why we don't try to upgrade the team. Everyone this year says we were fine. We have the greatest pitching staff. You can have great pitching, but when you don't score, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, Dan. We keep bringing this up. These pitchers go out and they think they need to at least give up 2 runs or less or the game's over.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, guys, why don't we do Ryan maybe coming in to join you here?
Yeah, perfect.
I'm going to hop on back and forth between here and the Krug Show. We got over 200 watching right now between YouTube and the on Twitter or X. So I want to keep this thing going because we got a lot watching. This is a big game. This is a turning point. I think it is the dagger. I already felt like the odds were very low, but I think it's even worse now. I think it's even worse. So
Robert, it doesn't matter if we win the series. We need to start sweeping. You got to remember, Robert, there's not that many games left. There's only 32 games left. When you sweep, you get 3 W's. When you win a series, or if you lose a series 1-2, it's less games on the season. You know, I mean, you keep saying stuff, oh, we're going to win the series. That doesn't matter nowadays. You know, the Giants have a good record at home, but they can't win on the road. That's the other thing. We're 11 games under on the road. Okay? You guys, we have no clue about our bullpen. We have Walker, who, you know, is great, but what? Since he pitched tonight, that means they won't pitch him tomorrow.
No, he pitched 2 innings tonight. He's not available.
So he's done.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? Is it Snell tomorrow? Yeah, Snell tomorrow.
Yeah,
that
Snell.
Snell's going to have to pitch a shutout.
Right. They should be able to. They should be able to win tomorrow. They should be able to win tomorrow with Snell, I think.
I think this one, you know, if the White Sox counted as 2 L's that we talked about, this one might be worth 2 L's too.
Yeah.
You know, this team had the day off yesterday.
I'm going to take a call here real quick.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, chat, what do you guys think? You know, I think it's important. Tonight's loss is almost like 2 losses. A game you thought you had, and then you choked. And you can't use Walker tomorrow. You know, you can only ask Snell to do so much, especially on the road. You know, very, very frustrating. And again, here's the other thing. Did anybody happen to see once Seattle won? They were fired up, the Giants, like it's another game. It isn't. There's 32 games left in the season. You know, I don't know what else to say. It's just gotten to the point now where, you know, I'm not even sure what our magic number is, you know, with the tiebreakers and everything. You know, it's just, I completely agree. Isaac Churchill, another mismanaged lead, and it all comes back to Melvin. I was one of these guys that when we picked Melvin as our manager, it was safe. But I'm so sick and tired of guys like Farhan and our reporters. Oh, well, he used to be a Giant. I don't really care. Same thing with Kratman. Oh, he was good when he was with the A's. I'm so sick of that excuse. Oh, he lives in California. Let's bring him in. I want guys that are good now, not in the past. You know, I noticed also somebody in the chat talked about Fitzgerald. Hey, guys, Fitzgerald was on a tear like you've never seen before. But guess what's happening now? The league's starting to find out about him. That is what's happening. You know, you notice all these Giants that get hot about a month into it, the teams start coming up with game plans. You know, there's scouts out there. You know, it's amazing. Yeah, Nick, I agree. Giants, you can't blow a 5-1 lead, and it's the 8th inning, and then expect, boom, everything's fine. You know, so, yeah. Oh, and by the way, I thought that was another great thing. I'm looking at the chat. Who was that? Let me see. Yeah, Bob Melvin. I have no clue why. You knew the guy stole third. 2 pitches later, it ruined the game. It gave the advantage to the batter. Dan, did you see that when Seattle stole third base?
In the 10th?
In the 10th. You knew he was safe.
Yeah, he was safe.
You knew everything. So what do? You spend 2 minutes going to try to change it. I don't care. That changed the whole entire vibe. And
yeah, I mean, he was going for he was just, you know, going for broke there because the game was, when he stole third, is probably pretty much over it. And
the other thing
his palm came, like if this is the base, his palm was hit. He got it safe, and it went like this, just barely, maybe for a millisecond, but it was so close you couldn't even tell.
No.
It was like, you know, and who was hitting at that time? Oh, or catching. It was Casale in the 10th, right? Because they pinch ran for Knapp in the top of the 10th. Casey Schmidt got in. Yeah. I mean, wow. It's just a loss that Asif 40, Ohtani 40-40. Wow.
We wouldn't want a guy like that.
No, we wouldn't want to have given him a
We want a guy
billion.
that would be 25 and 25.
Imagine this, Lou. They're doing this. You saw the $10 deal today, right?
Yeah, I sent that to you.
Yeah, you sent that to me. Let me. I'll pull that back up here again and show you guys this from today. This was put out, and let me just show you guys what the Giants. Imagine if they would have paid $1 billion to get Ohtani instead of the 700 matching the Dodgers, which is not going to get you anywhere. $10 tickets. That's what they have to do to fill the place up. If Ohtani was there, they would be filling the place up at regular price. But nope. Giants got to go do the $10 tickets, 501 tickets for Levi's. It's, buy one, get one, BOGO. It's like this club, they're running this operation, Lou, like it's, the 99-cent store, the Dollar Tree.
I agree. This is the first year, and I don't want to be that negative, but I want everybody gone. I want everybody of the Giants. I want Farhan gone. I want Larry Bear gone. I want Melvin gone. Just go young. Stop thinking about it and talking about it. I'm so sick of these guys saying, oh, and do what's best for the fans. I'm so sick of them. You know what's going to happen is they're going to say, after we lose Snell and Chapman, is, guys, injuries really cost us. We never really had our starting lineup this year. We lost our center fielder. They're going to do all this negative, and we're going to have the same team again. Tonight was Yaz's birthday. Yeah, great present, Giants. But he's turning 34. That means next year, at the end of the season, he's going to be 35, guys. 35 years old. We don't need him. We got to get younger. I don't know what it is. And we're going to talk about this, is we now have a stopper that everyone believes in. I mean, his slider is almost untouchable. But if you guys would have been in NorCal on the trade deadline and you guys thought we were nuts, we kept saying, let's trade Duvall. Let's trade Duvall. Well, Duvall, I thought he was supposed to be called up. I guess he's not, or he would have pitched in the late innings. And I'm sick and tired of being safe. Melvin was safe, but what can you do? Oh, yeah, Conforto. Yeah, way to come through when it counts on another strikeout. Chapman, same thing.
You know what? I didn't even look at the box score tonight.
Conforto got the big hit, but when it counted in the 10th, can't even put the ball in play.
Yeah, it's a toughie. That's a toughie. Let's take a look at the box score here real quick. We should go through the stars of the game here. Let me pull up the box score real quick.
And Dan, the other thing I want to get rid of, I can't stand the announcers anymore.
Oh gosh, I couldn't. I had to turn it off.
Kruger and Kuiper have been great, but it might be time to move on. I listened to Miller. He makes more mistakes now this year, calling the wrong guy up. He's got to go. And of course, I can't stand who. Go back to Stanford basketball and Stanford football. All you do is complain.
I know, Dave. Stop the complaining. He got better for a while.
All year.
Whenever it gets
everything now.
Whenever the game gets tight and there's pressure, he just starts complaining about each call. If you listen to a lot of baseball, rarely do I hear other teams do this.
No, it's never like that. It's just us, and then, and Pence is like trying to hold them back, but
look at the K's tonight.
Oh yeah.
18.
We struck out 18 times, and I believe we struck out 14 Mariners.
You're kidding. 14.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. All right, so look at this. Fitzgerald, 0 for 5. 4 Ks. They may be finding his weak spots.
Yeah, that's what I said. After a month, the major league finds it out.
Yep.
The word gets out.
Always. Lamont Wade had a good night. 2 for 3, a home run, 2 walks. Ramos, 2 for 5, 2 RBIs, a home run, and that was a blast.
Yeah.
Conforto, 1 for 5 with a blast. Chapman, 0 for 4, 2 more Ks. Yaz, 0 for 4. Estrada and McRae 1 for 4. Knapp 1 for 4. And that was it. A lot of these ball players. Look at Julio Rodriguez. He's like having a horrible year, hitting 258. I think he's only got
been on the DL 4 times.
Yeah. Jeez.
But here's the thing about the Giants. Maybe we can have fun with our lineup. Who's going to survive and bat over 225? Because we're going to get to the point at the end of the season once they going against great pitching. We're not going to have any hitters anymore.
All right, here's your guys that are hitting we'll hit over 2. Let's make the demarcation line. Let's make it 235. How's that?
235.
All right. I say, obviously, Fitzgerald, Wade, Ramos. And I say that's it. Maybe Conforto.
That's embarrassing.
Maybe Conforto. I think Conforto can hit 240, 240-ish or more. I think Chapman falls below 235. I think Chapman ends at 233. And Yaz ends up at 229. And Estrada, he'll move up to like 224. And McRae, he'll probably fall down to about 210, 220. And who cares about Knapp? I mean, why is this guy even on the team? I mean, where do we find him?
Wasn't he called up? He was called up today.
Was he called up or
if they called him up today, Dan, Bailey might be done for the season. They're just not talking about it.
Well, was he?
I never heard of the guy. I think they called him up from Double-A.
I don't know. I thought he was just picked up somewhere. Who knows?
Maybe we made a trade with the Mariners like we do all the time yesterday, and it just hasn't been announced.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know where Farhan finds him. I think digging through the.
Yeah, here it is. Corey Dixon says Knapp hasn't played a game in 2 years.
Yeah,
that's got Farhan written all over him.
That's what I mean. It's like where do you find these guys? You got Blake Sable down in Sacramento all year, a left-handed bat. You don't have a left-handed bat. You lost Bailey, and you have no left-handed bats because why? Because you play them when they're facing a right-handed pitcher. You got to have every left-handed bat. So you have no left-handed bat to come off the bench. And then what are you doing in the bottom of the 10th with a ghost runner on second with speed? Pitching a lefty is not a good recipe because, as I said earlier to start the show, when he stole third, a lefty has to do a 360 because he's got to spin. It's much easier to steal off of a lefty than a righty because a righty just turns his shoulder looking this way, right? Come on.
Yeah.
Look, if it's a righty, you got – hold on here. What happened to my screen? A righty. Look, if I'm looking at it, I'm on the rubber, looking this way. Back this way, second base. I'd step off the rubber. My foot just went back, and I could just turn and pivot, and I can send him back. It's hard for him to get the lead because if he starts jumping off and moving too far off the bag, you could see it. But if you're like this way, lefty, you can't. You just got to step. It's just different. It's easier to steal, much easier from second base, just like it is if you're on first base. It's easier to steal off a right-handed pitcher than a lefty because you don't know if he's going to, hold that leg up and throw over to first. So I don't know why they brought Miller in.
Yeah,
I don't know who else.
Because remember what happened Wednesday? He came in the ninth, got ripped before we bought in the Bivens, who then gave up 2 more hits. These guys aren't effective in late inning pressure situations. It just got to the point where it's like, I don't understand is Melvin that clueless or our pitching coach that clueless? Especially with the day off yesterday, it should never have happened. You had a disaster on Wednesday, you have Thursday off, and now you have a game you have to win, and you do the same shit again.
Let me ask you this. Gosh, I keep forgetting to change the standings. I keep forgetting to change the standings with my hat. But guys, we're getting close to December. I mean to September. September 1, we're just about a little over a week away, right? What is
Yep.
September 1? Is it on Sunday? A week from Sunday. So we got about 8-9 days.
No, today's the 30th.
No, today's the 23rd.
Yeah, I mean next Friday will be the 30th.
Yeah. Okay, so September 1 is
Saturday.
No, it's Sunday. Today's the 23rd. There's 31 days in August. 31 days in August.
All right.
So September 1st is Sunday. That's when you can call up rosters, increase your roster by 2. It's also a time when teams let go of veterans that are out of it because they want to get a look at some of the other guys on the team. So by September 1st, the Giants have how many more games to go in the by
Today was the third, I think 32.
Hold on, hold on. Let me pull up the schedule. Giants have 1, 2.
Yeah, 32.
5, 6,
They're at
7.
130 right now. 65 and 65.
Yeah, 7 more games to go before September 1st. So if the Giants end up doing a 3-4, 2-5 deal over the next 7, you could see Mark Canha get released in September. Who else could go? They could even just say, you know what? They could. What is the deal with waivers? Is waivers, if you're waived before September 1st and picked up by another club,
you can be on their playoff roster.
If you're on the roster, there's a possibility Michael Conforto asks for his release in the next few days because it takes a couple days to go through. If Conforto wants to maybe have a shot at the playoffs, he will get picked up. Plus, if somebody wants to have him on their roster, listen to this, Lou. The Giants save a few $1 million because they pay him $18 million a year. So they pay him
$2 million they would save.
How many months is the season? 6?
Or $3 million, yeah.
They'll save $3 million. I wouldn't be surprised if Michael Conforto gets waived.
I could see Conforto, Yaz, because they don't have a contract for next year. Estrada.
Hey, remember what the Angels did last year? They tried to release all those guys they traded for because they were like, shoot, we're not going to, it didn't work out. We're not making a run.
7 out of the 9 they picked up.
They just released them because now if nobody picks them up,
then they come back and you control them.
Right. But if somebody picks them up, you're hoping somebody wants to just pay that salary.
But I could see someone who's sort of like struggling right now for runs, like a Baltimore, maybe someone like Cleveland, maybe someone like Milwaukee. You know, how about one of those where we go to Milwaukee after this weekend? Milwaukee could always use another bat. They need another lefty. You know, I mean, because when you look at our lineup, and I'm just going by the lineup we have that Farhan gave us, Fitzgerald shouldn't be here. You have Wade, Conforto, Chapman, Yaz, Estrada. That's it.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to say, you know, if I'm Michael Conforto, I think I say, hey, look, ask. I'm a veteran.
Not going anywhere.
I'm not going, you know, give it a few more days. If the Giants end up getting swept and fall back another game where they're like 6 back, right now they're 5 back and 6, but they're 6 in the loss column. They're 6 in the loss column.
That's huge.
So they really have to make up 7. If they have to start, I mean, you're down to 32 games for the Giants.
Yeah.
You know, in less than 2 weeks, you're going to be 20 games. About 2
For a
weeks.
team that hasn't had a 4-game win streak.
The Giants have 1 4-game win streak or 2 this year.
But remember, they're 2-7 when they were trying to sweep a 3-game series.
Right.
You win half those.
They can't get to 5.
You missed out on.
They cannot get to 5-game winning streak yet. They haven't been able to do it all year long. So this is just a big giant.
And it's not going to get any easier, guys.
Yeah, it's just a big giant fustercluck.
Yeah,
it really is.
Who do they go against tomorrow? Who's pitching?
Snell against they got a good George Kirby.
Yeah, see,
it's probably not an overwhelming favorite for the Giants.
No. In fact, Kirby's favorite because the Giants aren't good on the road. That tells you something right there.
Let me look and see what the matchup is tomorrow. Okay, they have the Mariners 53.2% favored to 46.8. Yeah, because Kirby's a good pitcher, and he's an innings eater like Logan Webb. And so, yeah, hey, the Mariners are not giving up on the season. They fired their manager because they were lost. They got swept in LA.
Yep.
And then that made them a 500 club, did it not?
And when you fire the manager because you think you still have an opportunity to get in the playoffs,
that wakes up the team.
They're going for it. The other thing too is we talked about this before, guys.
Oh, and they gained a game on Houston with that big win tonight.
Yeah, big win. Here's the other thing, you guys. For the next 5 games, we're going against super good pitching, and we're on the road. So tonight, you went against Luis Castillo, who's good, but you scored 5 runs, and you still lost.
Yeah.
So again, I don't mean to be so negative when it counts like a double L. The White Sox one was a double L. This was a double L because of everything that comes up to it. The one good thing is it's sort of funny, Dan, today in the Bay Area, I was listening to the morning show on KMBR with Murphy and them. They were actually negative. Murphy was so upset the Giants didn't sweep the White Sox. They're all starting to talk. It's just not 95.7. People are talking that they're frustrated with the Giants. One winning season out of 6. How does Farhan still have a job? Fans aren't going to be showing up the last month of the season because it's going to be all about the Niners. Did you see what they did? They had to come up with another giveaway. A Webb T-shirt next Saturday. That tells you they're not selling it.
Oh, boy.
And then some kind of Buster hug. Another new one for next Sunday. Guys, $10 tickets. I don't care what you guys think. Oh, the Giants are getting fans. No, it's not like that. Okay? I'm a season ticket holder. I know how many are left. Okay? They lie. They've had are you trying to tell me they've had 7 games this year with the exact same attendance, 33,308? That's a lie. The day game against the White Sox, they said they had 28,303. No, they had about 16,000. I'm being generous.
Wow.
Now they're selling tickets for $10. That's all in. No taxes, no nothing. Dan, it tells you this whole organization is falling. That's what I'm saying. They got to get rid of everybody.
Right.
And you got to remember, the old Giants, you always knew in the back of your mind, you know what? This team, I believe. No one believes in this team. Nobody. Not one person on the chat believes, except Robert, believes we have a chance. Guys, it's over. If you guys remember from the 1980s, from the Get Lucky album, Loverboy, Song 2, Side 1, it's over. Okay? I don't want to hear it, oh, we win tomorrow, we win Sunday. We have to sweep. Again, 1-2 against 2-1 against Seattle doesn't do us anything. Because you know what happens? We're going to Milwaukee, who's trying to get a good record, where they have the best home record in the National League. You think it's going to get easier? No. It's over. Right. Robert, we're not being too hard on the Giants because of this. Same thing happened last year when you were on NorCal. Same thing. We want to be 500. The year before, same thing. There's no improvement. It's sort of pathetic.
Absolutely.
And hey, one of the Michael had a question. Can we discuss the Ramos Fitzgerald outs in the 10th and why we can't get runners in? Michael, I don't know where you've been the last probably 3 months of the season. We talk about runners in scoring position at least 2 times a night. Giants have nobody that can hit in the clutch. And Dan brings this up a lot with Kratman. He'll get 2 homers in a game where the Giants win 8-1. What we need from Kratman is when it's a 2-2 game and he comes up with no outs, bases loaded, we either want a sacrifice fly or a base hit, hard base hit to score 2 runs. Instead, he strikes out way too much. That's the other thing with Yaz. Yaz will hit a homer. Oh, he's getting hot. But the other 5 games, he'll have 12 strikeouts in 5 games. That's not, and you know what it is? It's not winning baseball. Again, tonight, perfect definition, Seattle. Giants can't get a lousy hit with the ghost runner. They had 2 guys on. Nobody made contact. Seattle, ghost runner at second. First guy couldn't do it, so what do? The first pitch, they run. Get the guy to third. The next guy, all he has to do is put the ball in play. It's a soft single to center. The game's over.
Right.
I mean, it's so simple. We keep saying this. If you watch the little leaguers, which obviously the Giants don't, they play baseball the way it's supposed to be. I'm so sick of these guys can't get bunts down. Today, a simple fly ball that almost cost us 2 runs on the infield. Fitzgerald and Kratman bump into each other. The ball almost came out. How does this constantly happen? It happens in the outfield. And it could just be, Dan, our coaches just let them go. They don't teach the basic fundamentals.
Yep. Hey, take a look at this. We got over 235 people watching right now here on YouTube and X. MF says this show has more views than KMBR.
Of course, standard.
The sports leader. I think it's NorCal Sports Network. People want to listen to. They don't want to listen to a bunch of, this is great, everything's great. They want to hear the truth.
Yeah, and Dan, the other thing is Robert asked me, and Dan knows this. Lou, how many wins did I expect the Giants to have this season? I put my money where my mouth is.
Did you said under 83, right?
Yeah, so it was 81.5. When they picked up Kratman, it went up to 83.5. So I tripled my bet. So I got almost $1,500 on under 83.
I think it went up a little bit. Then when they got Snell, it went up to 83. Yeah. That bumped it up. Yeah.
Again, it's one of these things where I'm in report KMBR is dead. They are going through announcers. The only good thing they've done in 3 years is they brought back Larry Krueger to talk about the Niners. That's it.
That's the best thing they've done is they brought back Larry.
Everybody else is horrible, and they're all homers. Except in the morning now, they're starting to turn around.
Steven Ortega, is this sarcasm or is he believing this? Dan, but the umpire wasn't fair to the Giants. There were balls called strikes. Yeah, that happened on both ways. Both ways, Steven. Giants blew the game, period. I hope he's being sarcastic. But
yeah, well, I think, Dan, he was saying how we're always criticizing Fleming for going crazy. But, the thing, we're going crazy because when the Giants get the call, even though it's a strike, he never says a word.
He never says a word, yeah.
Never says a word. He's such a homer now, it's hard to watch. Even tonight, who was doing the report, the side reporting, was trying to calm him down, saying, dude, and if you watch the pregame or postgame show with any of these guys, that's baseball. The umpires make mistakes, but if you watch the Giant game, you think out of 180 strikes, the Giants got screwed on 160 of them, and maybe the Mariners got screwed on only 20. It works both ways. That's all we're saying is our announcers are so negative, it's hard to listen. Dan's lucky enough where he can listen to the other team,
Yes.
and we've talked about this. Kruk and Kipe are making a lot of mistakes. Miller's making a lot of mistakes. We need to make a change. I would love for the Giants to say next year, Kruk and Kipe, final year. Make a celebration since we have nothing else to celebrate. And I think Fleming is a great announcer for college football. I enjoy him on ESPN for basketball.
Yeah, I do too. I love him.
But he has gotten so bad this year. I don't want to hear him for Giants baseball anymore. It's not even it's not even fun to listen to a transistor radio anymore when he's doing the announcing.
Right.
So
nope. Hey, look, I tried to do something. How can I do this? I want to put the link out here. Hey, Ryan, could you put the link in here? Have somebody join the show. I'm going to step out for a little bit. I got to hop over into the Krug show. They got a pregame or a postgame show going on the Niners. I got to make a little move over there, and then I'll come back. But someone come spend some time with Lou. We're opening it up. Anybody wants to tag team with Lou here? Don't want to end this stream. We've got 250 people watching right now. And, who wants to come on up here and join the show as we continue to talk
Friday.
Giants
off tomorrow.
Baseball. Somebody wants to come in. Is Robert Smith in the house tonight? We got so many people in here. Let's see. Robert. Is Robert in? He's a good. Let's see. Robert knows ball really well, and maybe Corey Dixon. He's out there. Let's see. Anybody? I'm just going through the chat here. Okay. The good news was tonight was we talked it earlier, but Ryan Walker.
He's starting to get. But again, once the league gets to see Ryan Walker, right now he's got that slider that you just can't stay off. It's tough.
Yeah, that's tough, man. I don't know how you hit that because you don't know if it's going to break or not.
And then he throws like a changeup. He's, right now he's ahead of the game. He reminds me of like a pitcher the first month of the season, in April, that he's ahead of the hitters. Because they're guessing and they're not even close. But here's the problem. We used him tonight for 2 innings and we lost. Yeah. Now we don't get to use him tomorrow.
You had to save the game, and now it's
that's it's
And you're you may need him tomorrow because you don't score.
I have a question about LZ. The Niners-Raider game was electric. First of all, it's the third game of the preseason. How can you get excited about a game that ended in a tie? I know it's a crazy atmosphere, and that's because there was probably 75% Niner fans. The Raiders this year are going to be a disaster. If you saw it, it reminded me of when the Niners went to L.A. to SoFi. Yeah. But again, come on. You can't talk about a game was electric. It's a preseason game where none of the starters played on either team.
Exactly.
Oh, so you were at the game. You were in Vegas. And the crowd
that's
was
right.
amazing.
He said he was going. That's right.
All right. Well, you were there. I'm sorry to end it in a tie. I just don't get too excited about that because it's preseason. I hope you got those tickets for free because you shouldn't have to pay. That's the other thing. You shouldn't have to pay full price, especially for a third exhibition game where none of the starters are going to play. Am I right, Dan?
Yeah. I mean, the starters did play the first quarter for the 49ers, which is good to see. They had 3 drives. They scored twice, and then Purdy got picked off. It was a deflected pass. The pass was right there to Debo, but it was a little bit high, but the defensive back was able to bat it. Ball popped up. DB picked it up. But, I thought Jordan Mason looked really good tonight for the 49ers. That was a good sign because with Jordan Mason, you're going to be able to spell.
I saw my boy Talon look good again. I don't want him on the practice squad. I want him to be our sixth wide receiver. This kid is amazing.
Oh, Cowan? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cowan's going to make a team. Cowan's going to make a team. I'm pretty sure. He's their punt returner. He's valuable.
Not bad for a 4th-round pick. That's one thing about the Niners. Except for the trade when we got the quarterback who we traded to Dallas, our picks, have been pretty good under this regime.
Yeah.
3rd, 4th, 5th round, we're picking winners.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what makes this team keep going. Unlike the Giants, that we're not doing it. And you got to get teams where you can go, hey, Ryan, what's up, bud?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
All right, we bring in the great Ryan. How do I say your last name? Is it Meridian?
Mirdadian.
Okay, Mirdadian.
I didn't even put it on the screen today. I'll save everyone.
It's like mine. All right, guys, we got the great Ryan in here now. He's gonna shift over. It'll be a side-by-side with him and Lou. I'll come back here in about 30 minutes. I'm gonna go put my thoughts in over at the Krug Show. Keep it here. I'll come back. You guys stay here. 224 in the chat. It just dropped from 229. When I come back, guys, keep the numbers up for these guys, man. They can talk ball. These guys know baseball. Okay. I'll see you guys back. It's 11:08. I'll be back by 11:40. Okay.
All right. See you soon, Dan.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, to do a little recap. I mean, that was pretty ridiculous because I think mid-game, I wish I had, I don't have your Twitter or your number, but it was funny. I was texting Dan mid-game, and I said, I think it was after the 2nd or 3rd Rodgers hit. I said, it's time because they already had Walker throwing. And I was like, you know what? He gave the thumbs up. And I thought it was funny because Fleming is a huge homer, but even he said, he's like, oh, Walker's giving the thumbs up. Looks like they've gone into Rodgers tonight. And he kept him in for another 2 runs. And
he did the same thing on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Where what's-his-name had no control. I mean, look what Walker had to get out of. Right?
Yeah.
He gave up 4 runs, gave up 2 more hits, and the base, there was no outs.
No outs, man, on 1st and 2nd. And that crowd was wild. I heard it on my TV. And, I don't have my TV on too loud for some of these Giants games because they're not – I thought we had this game over. I was actually starting to do some work on my phone and, on my laptop and stuff for school and whatnot and do some work. And then all of a sudden it's like the game's getting crazy I hear in the TV, Seattle's nuts. It's 1st and 2nd. I'm like, I see another hit. I'm like, oh, get Rodgers out. Cause I've just watched enough Giants games. And I think everyone in the chat and everyone probably knows someday Rodgers I actually like Tyler Rodgers and I like Taylor. Sometimes they get a lot of crap. But sometimes it's just not Tyler's night because sometimes teams are just getting to him. And and I think Lou, anyone who's played baseball, that's how it is with pitching sometimes. And especially with a submarine guy like him, if they don't have it, they don't have it. And especially a reliever, when you have someone who's already warmed up. So, obviously you couldn't take him out right away, but it was 5-3. Walker was ready. Thumbs up. And he leaves him in for another 2 runs.
Yeah, do you think Bomel doesn't know that after 3 batters, you're allowed to take them out?
No, he knows.
He's done this numerous times. And, you could tell. I mean, first of all, it's hard. I mean, it's almost impossible when you're a reliever to come in, give up 4 runs and 2 more hits and get nobody out. I mean, I saw it when I went to the Giants-Atlanta game where Ray gave up 5 runs only on 1 hit, but he hit 3 batters, walked 2 guys, and it was still the 1st inning. And you could tell he didn't have it. I mean, it's just one of those things where I know everyone's not going to be perfect, but you could tell after that 2nd run scored, he was going to give up more.
Oh, yeah. When you have Homer Fleming, and that's what I start to call him now, because he's a good broadcaster, so that's as far as I'll go. I just think he's a homer. He's really, really biased when it comes to the Giants, but I just call him a homer. When he's even saying, hey, you got Walker's thumbs up, and you got Hunter Pence on the broadcast, who are probably the 2, they're homers. And it's fine. I like them both. But anyways, if you have them saying that, and they're starting to not say it, but basically they're questioning Bob Melvin's pitching decisions. That's a concern. And I think in the next few weeks here, or not even the next few weeks, in the next week here, I meant to say, we're going to hear a lot of stuff starting to come out about fire Farhan or Farhan's, all this stuff. And it's funny because, you, Dan, some other people like Bonte Hill, really only him in like the mainstream KNBR stuff. You guys have really been the only people saying, and Cody recently a few months ago, he started getting on that wagon. But it's crazy because it's like, how does it take this long for people to realize with Farhan, he doesn't put together a good team. And then, I'll give Melvin a little more credit because I do think he's shown he's won manager of the year, 3 times?
I think so.
Yeah. So, I mean, Farhan's had one good season on the Giants. So it's like, I'm okay with giving Melvin one more year. Let's see how he does without Farhan. Because I know you were saying the whole staff needs to go, but I think everyone.
I'm a fan. I'm a season ticket holder. I'm frustrated because you know what?
Yeah.
Next year, especially if Snell and Kratman leave, this team's going to be worse.
Yeah, true.
And then I think that's a great point.
Did you come up with the Kratman nickname? Because I know that's pretty viral.
I've been hearing about it, but I'll tell you, Spencer Stork brings up a good point. And again, I don't know any other team, but the Giants now have had 5 extra inning games. 5 in the second half of the season, and they have not scored the ghost runner. I don't know if you guys remember a couple games back, we had Fitzgerald try to bunt because the night before we didn't get the ghost runner in. It's gotten to the point now where it's so frustrating that when we go extra innings, you have a guy at second, we got to try something different. Yeah. How about hitting behind the runner? How about a sacrifice fly?
No, why can't we hit
anything?
That's my thing. Why can't we hit sac flies? Because we tried the bunt the other day so I know why they didn't do the bunt today. I'll tell you why. Because they tried to bunt with Tyler Fitzgerald. Melvin said in the interview, it was a few games ago. I don't know if you remember this.
No, I remember that.
Yeah, and basically it was like the worst bunt you've ever seen. And
it was the Atlanta game.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's why they didn't bunt today. But I'm with you on this sac fly, and not even just that. Why don't you just push the ball to the other side of the
other side? Basic baseball.
Yeah, and then also pinch hit for Fitzgerald. You guys are if he can't bunt and you've decided he's having a bad game. He already struck out 4 times. Just put in I don't know. Wisely's already down.
Well, Dan brings up a good point. We have nobody on the bench that can go left-handed.
But we had a few people on the bench that are good bunters. I've seen Bochy do that many times growing up when I was a kid. You can pinch hit someone just to bunt if you don't
Roger Craig, who is a manager who's no longer with us. Roger Craig used to do 2 things that no other manager did. He would actually have a pitcher come up telling everyone we're going to bunt. He used to bring a guy, Rick Russell, Big Daddy, who was a great bunter. He would bring him up, bunt, because the guy actually knew how to bunt.
Yeah.
Where you put the bat out, let the ball dent on the bat and go straight down. Remember, if you bunt right, there's no way if the guy gets a decent run that he's going to be thrown out. The other thing, too, is I've never seen, except Roger Craig, where he'll pitch out 2 pitches in a row. I mean, tonight I sort of had that feeling that Seattle was going to run and, he could have pitched out, but of course, we didn't. And I just think it's got to the point now where I think the teammates are starting to lose faith in Melvin because none of them really know what their job is.
Yeah, especially the bullpen.
Nobody knows. I mean,
the bullpen's the worst. I think the only person who knows what his job was, and he just very rarely found that out, is Walker. But even before that, if you think about it, they used to use him in the 6th. Then sometimes he would be the setup man. Then sometimes it would be Tyler Rogers. Then sometimes it's Taylor. Yeah. So it's really the only person who knows what their job is on this team consistently has been the closer position, whether that was Duvall and now it's Walker because he knows.
And I brought this up the other day. We had our thing a couple of weeks ago about the core 4. They all knew their job. They all knew their responsibility.
Yep.
You know, I don't understand. I think of Eric Miller as an opener.
Oh yeah.
I think about that all the time.
If they,
where there's no pressure, no nothing. How he's pitched in the 9th inning.
Not good.
I mean, no, he's actually pitched twice. The 10th inning when he blew it against the White Sox, and then the 10th inning today. I don't understand it. He's not a guy like that. You know, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Now, I know we did have the best manager, at least while I've been alive, with Bochy. But again, that's because he gave everyone responsibility. He knew their roles, and everybody knew it.
Yeah.
You know, and it could come back to maybe this year, you know, with Melvin picking all his buddies up, you know, Williams at third, you know, the pitching coach, our hitting coach. Stop picking guys that are buddies of the organization, and let's get people that actually can do the job. You know,
100%. And I, you know, like I think the problem today, like I'm looking at the box score right now on my computer, like it's really the bullpen management. I think the issue. Obviously, the last couple games, but I think all season. I think if this would have been, like you said, if they would have had assigned roles, it doesn't always have to be exactly the same. Obviously, people can't always go. People get injured, but just if they knew, like you said, if Eric Miller knew he was either going to be a an opener or an early inning guy, like if someone gets cracked, he's the guy who comes in, right? Because I think he's actually pretty good in that role, and that's why he's only got. I mean, this is pretty high for a reliever, but it's a 3.9 ERA, so it's not the worst. And he's been pretty good, I think, as like you said, in that opener role. But I think it's pretty clear he's not good in these clutch situations. And if you're like, I think it was Dan today, he was saying to you, oh, well, you know, the bullpen spent, they're out of arms. Well, why not have, Sean or, use Taylor in a later role? Why are they using Taylor Rogers, who's used to be a closer and has had a really good season, and, you know, his whole career has been pretty good, as like an opener when he's, when they have Eric Miller in these clutch situations and he's a rookie. And I think Eric Miller's been actually pretty good this year for his first season, but he's not someone you should be throwing in clutch situations. And the ironic part is, as in the chat earlier, I put my comment, I said, and they had Spencer Bivens warming up, and you were saying, well, Spencer Bivens isn't much better. And that's what I was saying, is it was ironic because he had the same setup as the game he lost the other day. It's like, why are you, it's like, what's the definition of an insanity? It's like doing the same thing over and over again.
I completely agree. I think, and here's something that they didn't really talk about. I was told Duvall was going to come up today. So are you telling me they didn't bring up Duvall because they had to sign this catcher? Because they didn't have enough people? You got to take one up, bring one down. If that's completely somebody's fault that screwed up. Because if you would have had Duvall tonight, Giants might have won.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because people would have known you would have had, and again, Duvall without the pressure, he would have pitched the 8th, right? I think it's a lot easier. He comes in the 8th, you're up 5-1, boom. And then you have Walker for the 9th.
Yeah.
I think, it's just got the point. I think Robert Brown brings up a great point.
Which one?
All the Giants runs were on HRs again.
Yep.
They still cannot hit in the clutch with the runner scoring position. I think they were 2 from 10.
I can pull it up right now. But yeah, it was rough. And what I will say about that is today, I think the offense definitely wasn't what lost the game, but I completely agree. It was the same old thing it was 2 for 10. I just pull it up right now. So, but yeah,
here it is. You go in the 10th inning, runners at first and second. Conforto, who had a big hit earlier, strikes out, and the ball wasn't even close. I mean, the ball's above his shoulders. And
what I will say with that one, and I am like a Conforto homer, and everyone in the chat knows this, so I am biased on this, is he did get that. I don't know if you were watching the game, obviously. They did call that a strike earlier in the at-bat, so I think he was trying to protect. It definitely was a ball, but they called that same pitch a strike earlier in that at-bat. And then also it's like, he shouldn't even be in that position with 2 outs. We should have already had a runner had scored by then, just like Seattle did. You know what I mean? So, I don't think Conforto's at bat. He definitely should have came through there. I even said to Dan, I was like, that wasn't good. I was like, we needed him to come through there. I mean, that's what he gets paid for. But I think it comes to more of a Giants issue. It's like, why didn't we even have a runner on third at that point? It was first and second, like you said, with 2 outs. And that's not why did Seattle have no problem scoring? They got 2 outs and they already had a run in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And oh no, they didn't even get the 2 outs. They it was 1 out and they won.
No,
correct?
1 out. Yeah, he stole the ball and then
yeah, exactly. So it's like, the Giants can't even score with the ghost runner. It's always like, and then I 100% agree. Conforto should have came through. He's getting paid $18 million, but it's like, why didn't we score before that? Conforto should have been on the line there to win the game, not to tie it. You know what I mean? Like,
and here's my other question.
Yeah,
I'm not really sure exactly what happened because I was driving to pick up dinner with the Hicks situation. Have we found out what he did? Was he stick?
Yeah, he said in a post-game interview they posted, and I'll have to watch it to see exactly what he said because this could be clickbait or you never know when they just do a little small quote. But basically, he said he's got a lot of tightness, so not good. But he said so that what I would expect is he'll probably have some type of MRI or some type of thing to see what's going on.
I mean, this has constantly happened. Either they say tightness because he's overused or he's sick. I don't know who the bullpen coach is. I don't even know who the pitching coach is for the Giants. To tell you the truth.
They all need to go. The only person.
Again, you got to stop hiring buddies.
Yeah.
Hire people that can actually do the job. Somebody in the chat asked earlier, who can we get if we fire Farhan?
Yeah, I'll pull that up.
I'll take anyone right now, but Dan has been saying for 2 years.
Yeah, it was MF. I just pulled it up.
Go to Tampa Bay, find out who their general manager is, hire somebody, one of his assistants, pay him double the money, and get him over here. Because every other team seems to have a better drafting, better organization, never go through what we go through. I mean, right now, we're so desperate that we had to have a catcher that hadn't played in 2 years. Are you kidding me? With 32 games left, we're bringing up a guy that no one's ever heard of that hadn't played in 2 years. I mean, come on. That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
I mean, why don't you just Kelly Lee, the actor from the Bad News Bears, so we can get somebody that can hit in the clutch?
Farhan always, how does he find Lou? Like, actually, because you've been watching baseball a lot longer than me, and I've never seen this before. Because, like you said, you thought the best coach we ever had was Bochy. That's all I ever knew before this Farhan parade and whatever you want to call it. But, anyways, I'm confused how he even finds some of these guys. Like,
he must walk in.
We used to find guys like Cody Ross and we would get like some of these actual good players. Cody Ross won an MVP for us in the playoffs, and probably
Cody. And you know what? Did you hear why Bochy, when they got him? Bochy asked, "How is Cody Ross?" And they kept saying, "When this guy gets on a roll, he can do it for 2 to maybe 3 weeks."
Yeah, he got so.
You got to get him on the roll, and he was the difference against Philly.
100%. Especially after that, because Roy Halladay, he was going in on a no-hitter through us, and I think Cody Ross was hitting like 7, and he just pitched a no-hitter the game before. Yeah. So he was in like a Blake Snell type of run where the whole, the end of the season, he was just unhittable. He won Cy Young. People were like, I think it was one of the first no-hitters in playoff history. So it was.
I think wasn't it the second no-hitter of the season for him?
Yes, it was. No, it was exact. Dude, Roy Halladay was rest in peace.
Yeah, Holladay's a stud.
He was the stud. Rest in peace to, I don't know if you know, he died.
I mean, people don't realize, not everybody bets, but the Giants were such huge underdogs.
Oh, it was crazy.
I love Kipe's great line is when the Giants won in Game 6, Philly still thought there was a Game 7 tomorrow. They were so shocked that we beat them. They were like almost a 3-1 favorite.
Yeah,
it was almost the same thing happened when we played against Detroit.
Yeah,
they have all the pitchers, but
we swept them. That was funny because we swept them too.
Yeah, but here's the crazy part.
Both games. Real quick to interrupt you. Both times, I think the important games of those series were Game 1 because Pablo and Cody Ross hit 2 home runs in that game off
at Philly.
Yep, and then it was completely silenced the crowd. It was shocking, and they were both big home runs. I think the first one may have been with only one person on, but the second one, there's a few runners on.
Yeah, 3-run blast.
Yeah, and it won us the game. I think those were the only runs we scored.
Yeah.
And then that was a huge game one. And then Pablo
with 3 in the game against Detroit.
Off Verlander.
Yep.
So I think, it really matters a lot. We don't have any players like Ramos, maybe, I hope, but we don't have anybody like that who just really just smacks.
We don't have anyone with the it factor.
Yep, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Like you always knew probably the closest thing we had was like Buster would hit in the clutch.
Oh, yeah.
But recently we just haven't had that guy. We have a lot of young guys that get on a good streak. Like Ramos was unbearable. I mean, he went 6, 7, maybe 8 weeks of just hitting everything. Fitzgerald, Fitzgerald's still going to probably wind up with 20 homers. But my God, his streak, I think it was 11 homers in 17 days.
Yeah.
I'd be happy. Yeah, I'm happy with any of his replacements that value scouts. I think the thing with Farhan, again, and I use this term a lot, he likes to play it safe. It's always got to be maybe some guy that can maybe 2 more wins. He never goes for it. I mean, his terminology this year, I don't know if him and Robert are related, but he basically says, we have the best pitching staff. We don't really need hitting. Well, thanks. Since you said that, the Giants are 2 games below 500.
Yeah.
You got to have guys that can hit in the clutch. And, I still keep using this.
Chapman with
Giants,
the one.
The Giants are batting 192 with runners in scoring position. Only the Chicago White Sox are worse. Out of 32 teams, we're 31st in runners in scoring position. That's hard to do.
Yeah. And our cleanup hitter most days, well, it's either Conforto or Chapman, but Chapman's hitting, I just looked it up, 178. With runners in scoring positions. Conforto's 212, which isn't too much better, but Chapman 178. You got to be hitting over 200 with runners.
And I bet you, Ryan, out of all those times, runner scoring position, he's batting below 200. How many strikeouts?
Oh, I got it. I'll have to check it.
It's pretty unbelievable. Just put the ball in play. But I'm just sort of worried because guys. We're not getting Soto, so let's forget about that. I don't know who the free agents are going to be next year. I don't know if everyone has a dumb general manager like us that has all these opt-outs. I don't think anybody else does that except us. We do it out of desperation. But, this team, once we lose Kratman and Snell, we're going to be worse next year. I don't know what else to say. We have problems. Nobody wants to play here. We still have no power. We traded our only power, and we traded just to save money, which I don't have a problem with because we knew we weren't going to go to the playoffs. But I don't want guys like Farhan, you listen to Farhan KMBR. My God. That guy's nose, like Pinocchio, must go out the studio because he says, oh, we're good. If we have a good road trip and we go 5-2, and Atlanta goes 5-5, we pick up 3 games this week, then we only have 3 more games. Stop lying. Stop lying to the fans. Stop lying to yourself. This team is not that good. And, one of the things you see, and I didn't see the post game tonight because I did the show with Melvin, I don't even think he even has any more excuses. He just puts his head down and says, maybe I should have taken him out earlier. He shows no emotion. You got to get a manager that's going to get frustrated, like a Lou Piniella, Sparky Anderson. Do something. All he ever does is, he checks, replay. No, okay, yeah, let's go back. That's about all the emotion he shows. He doesn't show anything. If I was him, I would find out what the hell happened to Hicks. What do you mean something happened to him? Get excited, show emotion for the rest of the team.
Yeah,
it's hard.
You're talking about Melvin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he always gets ejected in the first inning, too, which I don't like.
It doesn't do anything good for the team. You got to get, it's sort of funny. Steve Kerr brought up a point. Steve Kerr had 17 technicals in an 81-game season. He said 15 of them, the team played horrible, and I had to wake them up. The other 2 was saying, I knew for me getting thrown out, we're probably going to get those 2 calls when it really counts in the last 5 minutes. Coaches and managers do that. They realize that. But, we have a manager who's just very soft. Again, real safe. Again, I wasn't super excited about getting him. But I just look at Seattle now. San Diego now. They're on a roll. Them and Arizona have done unbelievable, since the trade deadline. San Diego, what's amazing is those 2 teams picked up 8 games up against the Dodgers. They're only 3 behind. We're so worried about Atlanta being our wild card. Imagine if it keeps going like this in the Dodgers slump, we're going to have to jump the Dodgers and Atlanta. You know what I mean? Because of that. But it's hard, and I know a bunch of guys on the chat warned us about Melvin. We talked about, 1-run games. I think that goes down to manager and how you work the bullpen when you lose so many 1-run games. And you know what? If you look, I don't even know what our record is 1-run games this year, but I know extra innings were losing record.
It's not good. And so I pulled up those real quick just before I forget. I pulled up that Matt Chapman stat for you. He's got 40 strikeouts with runners in scoring position.
That's horrible.
Michael Conforto, who everyone likes to get really hard on, so just to defend him, he's only has 20. And he's hitting Michael Conforto with runners in scoring position this season is hitting right now 244. And then with runners on base, he's hitting 292. Matt Chapman with runners on base is hitting 212. With no one on base, Matt Chapman's hitting 268.
Again, not pressure situations. But 40 strikeouts, that's a lot.
But yeah, I'm actually kind of shocked by that. It's not 40, it's 37, but yeah.
Yeah, but every time I watch it tonight, he strikes out.
It's basically 40.
That's
not counting tonight. I think he added another 1 to that. So that's 38 now.
I just don't know. It's just come to the point now where, these games are so big. And again, when our teams that we're chasing win and we lose, it's a game on the season no more and a game now we got to catch up to them. It's just, I don't know. I'm not even sure. I think, it's probably starting next week. They'll have the magic numbers up, where, when you're eliminated. And, Dan said it last night. I was watching the show. He thinks the 15th deadline. The Giants should be eliminated by the 15th. I don't know how it came up, but that's pretty bad.
Yeah, I think this is a good point too. I think this could be, important tomorrow too, because it could be a close game, especially with Kirby.
Yeah, and Snell.
Yeah, and then against Snell, we could have a Snell type game, or even against the A's, it was like that too, because the Giants just can't hit against strikeout pitchers because they like to strike out. So what we're going to see tomorrow, I think, is probably a 1-0 game, 2-0, 2-1, some, low scoring game on either side. And if Walker's not available, I hope is Duvall coming back, you said? Can you speak on that real quick?
I thought he was supposed to come back today, but, they could have held him back one day because they had to bring the catcher up.
If we want to win a game, it's time to bring up Duvall.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. You brought up he's not going to pitch tomorrow because this is what happened.
Walker can't. Right?
Walker pitched an inning and 2/3 on the Tuesday night against the White Sox. That's why he didn't pitch Wednesday. And Wednesday's the game where they blew it in the ninth inning where they gave up the 4. Yeah, well, you saw they gave Harrison another day off because the Giants were off yesterday. So they're going to give Harrison an extra 2 days off because, you guys got to remember today, what's the name only pitched 4 2/3. These guys are not getting to the 6th inning, and that's the other thing that's really ruining the Giants bullpen. We get these starters that are going 90 pitches. They can't finish the 5th inning. Now you got to use maybe 1 or 2 extra guys out of the bullpen, and they don't have any more days off. They have 5 straight games, so they're going to have to use everybody. It's tough. And you're going against real good pitchers. So these, the thing about the Giants is we don't score a lot. So when the pitchers go in, Snell probably thinks tomorrow, great, we don't have Walker. I got to pitch a shutout. I got to pitch a shutout or maybe give up 1 run. And when you have that, the pressure, you throw 1 bad pitch, it could be over.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think Raiders for life brings up a good point. we're going to be going from Seattle with good pitching to Milwaukee that has the best bullpen in baseball and the best record at home. So it's not going to get easier. I mean, this is a real tough. That's why we said how important the games were for the second half of the season. When we went to Colorado, we got taken 2 out of 3. Dodgers smoked us 3 out of 4. You got to sweep the teams, you know. And again, Seattle now is 500, right? I think they're 1 game over 500. So here it is. We're playing against a team that's 500, and we can't beat them.
Oh, nice. Dan will be back.
You know, so.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm not sure. What do you guys think? I mean, we keep talking about.
Here's Bug. I mean, this is a good one for his predictions. What do you think about this? So you said is this a real bet you had on here? I know some people want us to talk about betting more. So
no, I've said the Giants. I bet the Giants
like
under
real money.
I bet last year they wouldn't be 500, and then when they got Chapman and Snell, it went up to 83.5. So I went and bet double my bet under 83.5. So if the Giants win 84 games, I lose my bet.
So
I made 5 bets this year. I bet New York Yankees under 96.5 wins. I bet the Dodgers under 95.5 wins. My biggest bet was Texas Rangers under 88 because, you know, after you win the title, they're not going to be 500 this year. The Giants under 81.5, 83.5. And then I bet Seattle to make the playoffs. And that's my only one right now that doesn't look like they're going to do it. But
well, they might sweep the Giants, and that'll put them in good shape.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you know, at least they're playing for something. You know, I just don't want the Giants all of a sudden. You know, Dan brings this up. You know, oh my God, the Giants. If you remember, 2 years ago, the Giants won the last 8 games of the season to be 500. So I don't want that to happen this year, but they had to win the last 8 games of the season. And this year, if you look at our schedule, except for Miami, all these teams are playoff teams. You know, Arizona, San Diego, Milwaukee, San Diego, Baltimore, Kansas City, Arizona. And then we end with St. Louis. Those are really going to be the only soft games because the games might not mean anything. But all these other teams, you know, Arizona, Kansas City's 19 games, like 18 games over 500. They're battling. Baltimore, they have no bullpen. I mean, their bullpen right now is the worst, but we got to go there. So it's going to be tough.
Real quick on this, what do you think about us? I don't think we ever got your take on this. I know Dan was talking about it a lot with Los, because Los was the one who said Mayo. I don't know if the Orioles ever offered us Mayo. I doubt it, but they would have given us something. But anyway,
yeah, I think they would have given us something. You know, but again, you know, by the way, I have to ask you guys a question. I keep watching the commercial of Harrison. Does anybody else think that Harrison and Los look like twins? Has anybody else thought of that? If you watch the commercials during the season, when Kuiper's kid, the idiot, thinks him and Alex have the best talk show, the best podcast, and you sit down and you have Harrison talking, and he goes, "Oh yeah, everyone's hungry." I'm telling you, it looks just like Los. If you guys know, if you ever see a photo of Harrison or a picture, and take a picture of Los, who works with Dan, they're identical twins. That's what I'm thinking. Nothing wrong with that, of course.
Yeah.
But, you know, I just don't know. I think right now it's come to the point now where, you know, I'd love for the Giants to just do the right thing, say we can't make it, and just play all the young guys. Give them experience so next year they have that month of baseball going to next year that we're going to need, you know. And I think some guys in the chat were bringing up, you know, maybe with, you know, Ramos and his injuries, play him every other game. You know, don't be playing him every game. Fitzgerald, maybe give him a couple of days off in the week. You know, when we bring guys up, I mean, I would probably maybe give Snell 3 more starts. You know, and maybe once they get eliminated, he won't pitch anymore. You know, that could be part of his contract. We don't know because the games don't mean anything to the Giants. I think, you know, right now I'd give Ray as many chances he can do. Webb's going to do what Webb wants. You know, he wants to pitch every other day, which is fine. You know, but I think, you know, you got a thing where you got 2 young rookies that, you know, give Harrison maybe 2 or 3 more starts. Don't let him get injured the rest of the time. Wait until next year. You know, you saw tonight. I mean, tonight, our pitcher was so lucky.
Yeah.
You know, and he pitched 4 2/3 inning. Maybe his arm. You know, I saw a stat where he's almost 200 innings.
Yeah, a lot of people in the chat have been talking about Birdsong. You're talking about Birdsong, right?
Yeah, Birdsong.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe give him one more start and just say, you know what? You've given us a great season. Thank you.
Yep.
You know, and save him for next year. You know, again, once you're limited, the games don't mean anything. It's like preseason.
Yeah.
You know, in spring training. You know, you got to think of next year. And that's the one thing I don't like about the Giants. They don't think about next year. They think about what we have now. There is no future. As Dan says, it's like Ray Charles driving on a freeway. You have no clue where they're going. You know, there's no direction. I keep seeing that Chapman is now going to be doing his exercise and he's going to opt out. Okay. So if we know he's going to opt out, let's get other guys up here that can play the infield and get ready for next year.
They want to re-sign, and I guess we can kind of talk about this real quick, and maybe we'll see what you want the Giants. We can end the show on like what you want the Giants to do, but everyone keeps talking, and I think it might actually happen by how much coverage there's been on it. And I don't know.
Yeah, but did you see what he wants? He wants another 5-year deal.
No, they're gonna, Lou. I think if Farhan stays on this team, I think they do it because then Farhan's gonna be like, "See, I signed a big free agent. Look, I got a star. I got a."
Okay, first of all.
5-war player.
I hate war. Okay,
yeah,
war to me is all about defense, but it's the offense that we need. Yep. You know, I mean, the guy can't hit in the clutch. We all know that he strikes out too much. Defensively, he's great, but he's not even an average hitter for a guy of his stature. If you look through his stats, 20 homers. He doesn't have 75 RBIs.
No, we just went over the stats. I mean, he's hitting 188 and with runners in scoring position with 38 strikeouts. It's kind of
something like that's not worth $25 million a year.
No.
Okay.
Not for the Giants. Maybe for another team who's looking. And again, I'm not a Chapman hater. I just don't think we need at this unless we sign, and this isn't going to happen unless we sign like a Juan Soto and another. I don't even know who other is on the block right. And then added somehow like a Vlad Jr. Then you're like, okay, let's keep Chapman because Chapman now can hit like 7th in the lineup, which is where he should be, 6th or 7th. He shouldn't be your 4th or 5th hitter who's constantly having to hit in the clutch and then it puts a lot of pressure, I think, on the other guys like Ramos, Conforto, and everyone who's in front of him because I think they know this guy's everyone on the team, like you said, doesn't have – I think there's a trust issue, I think, team-wide, not just with Melvin, but I think with the team where it's like everyone's always trying to do too much. They're always trying to swing for the fence. You see today, I agree. All of our runs were off home runs.
And I've been saying that about Yaz all year. I hate a guy try to hit a homer every time he bats. And he's usually like 40 feet short of the fence. So how about just line drives? I mean, we have a park that has a special section called Triples Alley. Triples Alley. Yeah. But we never hit any triples in Triples Alley. Other teams do, you know, and I think there's a lot of excuses. Yeah, Chapman's probably a good 6 or 7 hitter.
Yeah, that's right.
Like that, 12 million a year. That's it. 15 at the tops.
Yeah, and if another team like the Yankees want to overpay them, that's or like not just them, but other teams who are pretty stacked and they think, okay, if we add a Matt Chapman, we're over the top. That's their decision. The Giants aren't in that position right now, and anybody who thinks they are is delusional about where this team is right now. You know, it's Matt Chapman isn't the guy we need to spend $25 million on. If you want to go overpay someone, I'd rather see, and I don't know how you feel about this, but I'd rather see us give, you know, a Juan Soto like $50 million a year, just because at least we know he's good. Dude, he had like, it was funny. Whenever the Yankees came to play us, and this was like a third through the season, he had hit more home runs, him and Aaron Judge, than any Giant. And they had played there 2 games. Because Juan Soto, I don't know if you remember, he hit 3 homers, and I think Judge had like 3 as well.
Why would Soto
he's not going to
leave batting ahead of Judge, where you're going to get a fastball and great pitches the whole time, and come to a team like the Giants, even if it's maybe 5 or 10 million more, where you're not going to win and you're never going to get the pitches to hit?
Oh, I don't. I don't think he's going to come. I'm just saying Matt Chapman at $25 million would be an overpay. I'd rather overpay like someone who's actually a legitimate super, like what they try to make Matt Chapman out to be. They try to make Matt Chapman out to be like the next giant savior. He's not Barry Bonds. Like they don't act like he's Barry Bonds, but sometimes the Chapman stuff gets crazy with the WAR. Everyone's like, oh, he's got. Let me look it up, but his WAR is really high, and
I think that WAR thing's a piece of shit.
No, I'm not a WAR guy.
Defenses and you save runs, it goes up. Nah, it's a joke. But here are the things that we have to look forward to next year.
Yeah.
Okay. Soto, we're not getting.
Yeah.
He's either going to the Mets or he's staying with the Yankees. Pretty simple. All right. Then Coben Burns, the pitcher. Okay. I don't think we're going to go after him unless we lose Snell. Okay.
Wow. Chapman has 5.7 WAR now.
I saw an article today which made no sense that the Giants are interested in Bergman. Did you happen to see that?
No.
The third baseman. Well, why would you be interested in him unless we know Chapman has already told him I'm leaving?
Yeah.
We go after another third baseman when we already have the best defensive third baseman. So Bergman's not here. He's going to go. The other thing too is nobody talks about is Snell's wife had a baby. She's from Seattle. So a lot of times these players, you got to do what the wife says. Apparently he likes Seattle. They got the money. I could see him going up there. The other free agent, Pete Alonso. I don't know if I want to spend $30 million on him. I think he's sort of a little behind his times. The guy's batting .210 with almost 30 homers, but I know he'd fit in with the Giants. But I don't want to pay $30 million to a guy who's going to be 31, who's sort of not behind his time. And then Willie Adames, the shortstop. I don't know why. I like Fitzgerald. Why spend the money on a shortstop when we have him? So and then Flaherty, another pitcher. That's it. So next year, the free agents, you have Soto and a bunch of pitchers, and that's it. So the Giants are going to be screwed. And what are we going to do? Who are we going to actually trade from our major league team to get somebody?
From like, are you talking about from the actual roster?
So
or are
if
you talking
take
about from
Snell
the
away and you take Chapman away, who on the Giants do we have to trade? First of all, who would want?
Are you talking about from the major league roster? Or are you talking from? Okay, yeah. Right now, or are you talking about for next season?
Yeah, just like on the offseason, the season ends.
Oh, no one, because they're all free agents or they're gone.
Yeah, so we.
Unless you want to trade,
we have nobody that anybody else in the major league even wants.
Unless you wanted to trade like a Ramos, or if you wanted to trade a Bailey, people would want them, but we don't want to trade them because they're our best position players.
So what I'm trying to say is we're stuck with the same team next year.
Oh yeah, for sure.
When opening day happens, we're going to have the exact same team, and who knows? Knowing Farhan. I hope he's gone, but guys, because of injuries, we lost our center fielder. Wade got injured. Well, I don't really care. Even with them, we weren't going to the playoffs. That's the big thing is, one of the things Dan keeps trying to bring up is if you bring up the young guys now, next year they have another year of experience. They know what it takes.
Yep. Okay.
And it's just kind of the point now where I'm sick and tired of hearing about our guys in AA or high A ball that are going to be in the pros. When? I've been hearing all this for 8 years. Harrison, he's the best pitcher since Mad Bum. Come on. Harrison is a rookie. He's struggling. He might be as good as Mad Bum in maybe 4 or 5 years, but he still has major problems. He can't locate his fastball a lot of times. He's an above average starting pitcher.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on Harrison. I think, especially because I don't know if you've seen it, he changed his arm slot this last year.
Can't figure it out.
Yeah, so I think he's going to be a good pitcher. I think the Mad Bum comparisons are crazy. I also didn't like I hated the Patrick Bailey to Buster Posey comparisons too. I actually really like Patrick Bailey, but you got to chill out with comparing people to these like, borderline Hall of Fame players. I mean, hopefully Posey and Bum get in. Posey actually has a good shot. Bum is going to be just because he'll get in maybe just because of his World Series stuff and him being, pretty close to the. It's not really that argued. If you look it up online, even like the best World Series pitcher of all time, he's got a .25 ERA.
I mean, it was
so
incredible.
maybe he gets in on that. But anyways, these are two, all-time Giants. And I just think if you try to start putting some of these guys up to them, it's not a good position for the players to be in either. Like I just think we need to chill out with the hype and let's, I'm glad they're good and let's just take them as they are.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are rookies. Give them a couple of years. I mean, obviously Farhan gives the pitchers a little bit more leeway than the batters. I mean, I see San Jose Sharks here says Luciano is not going to be part of this team. Let me ask you this: the way they treated him, would you want to be back?
No,
and I don't think. Why would the Blue Jays trade Luciano for Bichette? We got to give up a few other guys.
Oh yeah.
I mean, come on.
People forget that Bo Bichette still has, even after this season, he's hitting a career like 297.
Yeah.
This guy has really been a really good player for about 6 years in a row. This season is his only fall off season. A lot of people will bite on him. Can't buy that low. We would have to give a Luciano plus one of our top 100s. We would need to give a Birdsong or actually, I guess this guy Tibbs, and I'm kind of excited about him. Hopefully he'll be good. He already made the top 100 already. He's, I guess, been pretty hot. So, someone like that, we would have to give a top 100 plus because Luciano, he's not even in the top 100 anymore.
Well, as Farhan said, when we met on the trade deadline, we're going to give the young kids a lot of chances. And he got 7 at-bats in 2.5 weeks.
The young guys don't get a chance unless they hit a bunch of home runs in a week, and then they get to play. The only 2 young guys who got to play.
And I think you got to remember the Giants are very lucky. If you're going to take this season, is you got Fitzgerald that you didn't really know about.
Yep.
Ramos, who's only up here because of an injury. Who knows how many times he would have came up? Would definitely not had the same year.
Oh no.
And I think we got Walker.
Yeah.
Really that we found out that could be a stopper. But really, a lot of these other guys have sort of done what we thought. And Farhan does it where we pick up these guys off injuries, off Tommy Johns.
Birdsong also looks like he could be something. We'll see. He's got up and down, but he started out really hot. And he's got some good velocity. I think if he can add some movement, he could be something.
But remember, the major league, you come out on fire being a great pitcher, sort of like Webb. Like some of these teams with Webb, they won't swing unless it's a fastball because they know his slider won't. When he's doesn't have it, they'll just wait.
I don't think
adapts.
Yeah, I don't think Birdsong's an ace, but I think he could be a Harrison type, another someone we could add to our rotation, and I think that's good. It would be nice just to have the same people on the team, and I know maybe you could speak to this a little more, but growing up, it was always the same guys, and it was not, even with the Warriors now, and the Niners. It's like the Giants because of Farhan. It's just a different cast of characters all the time, and it's like I saw someone in the chat the other day say this, and I'll have to ask you. I haven't bought a jersey since 2016 because you don't know. I would buy a Conforto jersey because I'm a big Conforto fanboy, and because I've been following him since college. That's the only reason I'm still So, once you followed a player that long, you're sticking with them.
Of course.
And he's he's not completely bad. He's not. But anyways, I would have bought one, but I knew he was probably going to be gone at the latest 2 years. It's not worth my money. It's really not. And then it's the same thing with everyone. Haniger, people liked Haniger, but no one wanted to buy his jersey and smart not to. He didn't last on the team long. But we got a lot of fringe all-star, one-time all-star. No one, I don't even think I've seen that many Matt Chapman jerseys. You want to see them, and you probably know because you've been to more games than me. But when I go to the games, I've been to 5 games this year. I see the most Yastrzemski jerseys or like bum, and then older players who aren't even on the team. But I'm like, why does everyone have a Yaz jersey? And it's just because he's been here so long. People are like, oh, at least I can just buy this and not waste my money. No one wants to buy.
Or maybe his grandfather was one of their favorite players at one time for the Red Sox.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
And they don't make the Yaz Red Sox jerseys anymore. You know, so like when I went to the game with Spencer, who won the raffle, there was 6 jerseys by me. 2 with Willie Mays, 3 with Clark, and I had to ask him which Clark. Was it Webb? I mean, I'm seeing this. Was it Jack Clark or Will Clark? And the guy didn't even know there was 2. So obviously he's not a real fan. Then there was one, and it was, I go, whose jersey is that? Because, it didn't have a number, and I couldn't remember the number. And the guy didn't even know who it was. I go, is that even like a real jersey? And he goes, well, it's my first game of the season, so I just borrowed the Buddies jersey. That's it.
There's so many casuals at the Giants game now. It's people go just because it's a nice scenery and like it's cheap and they have giveaways. I swear to God, every time I go, I only go to the giveaway games.
Yeah, and I've not seen many Webb jerseys, Robert. When I go to the games, I just haven't seen them. Now, again, I sit by the Giants dugout, so maybe it's just different. I just don't see them. The other thing about the Giants is one of the things that sort of pissed me off is when you go to a ball game now, they have so many illegal vendors, but they're not selling jerseys outside of the ballpark. You go to Momo's, you have the standard guy there with a guy named Jim Sweeney who's selling stuff. But then 2 blocks away, there's another guy selling jerseys, all counterfeit. Giants don't care. But really, they're just selling knit hats, and they're selling, things that hold the big beer, the big hands, and they're selling Warrior stuff. They're not selling the Giant stuff. And then when you go inside, because remember, if you're a season ticket holder, you get 25% off food, booze, and jerseys. So they have all these jerseys, but they don't have anything. They have still Bochy jerseys. He hasn't been here for 5 years?
No, this
guy's been gone.
This comment's perfect. It's like all the old players, like I was saying. And I think you mentioned the Clark jersey. You just said the Clark jerseys you see a lot, right?
Yeah, I see a lot of Clark. And
he said Posey, Crawford, Bumgarner, and Clark. I think that sums it up. And then you see a bunch of Yaz jerseys, which I don't understand why, but I do see a lot of them.
Yeah, and what's funny is last year I tried being a season ticket holder. If you paid early, you got to get a jersey made.
Did you get a Yaz jersey made?
And I went to the Giants dugout store and they moved it now. This season I went in and I wanted a number and fire Farhan, and they wouldn't do it. And I go, why not? I'm buying a jersey, and they wouldn't do it. It really pissed me off. So they go, do you want a jersey? I said, no, just give me a fucking store credit, and I walked out. It's like, it's amazing. Did they
give you a store?
They won't give you what you want.
Did they give you the store credit at least?
Yeah, they did.
That's good because it's not worth a jersey, right?
No,
it's not.
But I think I've never seen Bub Rad on this, but he's bringing up a lot of good points tonight. Until I don't know how to actually do that. I mean, the only way you can really get the ownership to really start worrying about everything is
people got to stop showing up, right?
Stop showing up.
Yeah.
And this last month of the season, especially where so many, and again, here's a perfect example tonight. You had the Niner-Raider game.
Here we go.
You had the Giants-Seattle game. Mariners, same time. Giants were on 2 stations. The Raiders game was on 2 stations. I'd like to see how many people watch a preseason game that meant nothing over the Giants where it meant everything.
Yeah.
I think it's sort of important where, it's just come to that point now where, the Giants aren't the thing. I mean, I don't know. It's so frustrating.
It sucks too because when I was growing up, I mean, my favorite sport now is basketball, but for me, it was always like basketball and baseball.
Yeah.
And baseball, like true. If the Giants were good, it would be baseball for me. But I've grown, I've gravitated towards like the Warriors. And I think a lot of people, it's been the Niners or the Warriors because it's like at least they're trying every season. Like you might not win every year, but at least we knew, we didn't win every year too with Bochy. There was a lot of years that weren't great, and we'd even have a fall off after winning a World Series and whatever it was. But the team was trying. Like in 2011, trading Zach Wheeler for Carlos Beltran.
You had to do that because people get upset at that. We gave an ace, but we lost the best player on our team, Buster. He was out.
Yeah,
and we also led.
We thought we were going to re-sign Carlos too, and because we were.
If you remember that, we led by 12 games.
And Carlos he's a good. People need to look up Carlos Beltran on Baseball Reference.
Mr.
They don't
Clutch
know.
in the playoffs.
He was a good player, and we missed the playoffs and we weren't able to re-sign him. That's like it's revisionist history on that one. The one I do agree with a little bit was just the Andrew McCutchen for Brian Reynolds, just because I thought McCutchen was kind of a little washed up at that point. But the Beltran trade, Beltran was still good. He had a lot of.
You had to do it. He had his 2 years before he was an All-Star, and the year after he played with us, he was back in the playoffs.
Who?
Beltran.
Yes. Yeah. No, I thought you meant McCutchen. Yeah, Beltran. Yeah, he was great. He was a great player. People always sleep on the fact that he was worth trading a Zach Wheeler for. It would be like if we traded a Birdsong now for a Vlad Guerrero. No, I don't know. Yeah, like someone like a Vlad Guerrero
like
Jr.
And you got to remember, we didn't know how good he was going to be because we had gone through so many drafts where we get these guys that don't make it.
And think about who our pitchers were at the time. People always forget, like, you had the ability because of how many great prospects Sabian and they all drafted of pitchers. And we actually do have a lot of good pitchers now, too. I'll give that credit to Farhan. And I think that's just a Giants thing for some reason. I think pitchers just like to come here and pitch, so we always get free agents or whatever it is. But anyways, we had Mad Bum at that time. We had Tim Lincecum coming off 2 years from a Cy Young. This is 2011. So keep in mind, Tim Lincecum, Madison Bumgarner, they all just won a World Series, showed they're great playoff pitchers. You had Matt Cain. So you had 3 number 1 type guys. They all were aces in their career at certain points. And I think you had the ability to trade a Zach Wheeler. So I don't subscribe to
I think you also got to realize you had to give up a good, solid prospect to get him.
Yep, 100%.
He was the number 1 catch at the trade deadline. If we didn't give it up, we wouldn't have gotten him.
No, and Beltran was a stud. He was a multi-time All-Star. He was a really good player.
Switch hitter. I mean, just I was happy.
I was fine. I was fine with the deal. Looking back, I'm always like, damn, I wish we had Wheeler, but I'm never like mad that we did the deal. You know what I mean? And I think anybody who is. But so yeah, I think that was that. But I guess, to wrap up the show, what do you think? How do you think the tomorrow goes? And
I think tomorrow, I usually feel pretty comfortable with a 5-1 win. But it's just kind of the point now where, boy, these games are like old, slow, and like a monster movie. I already know the end. It's one of those. And again, you can only ask a pitcher like Snell to do so much. I mean, it's unbelievable. Yeah, I know. You know what, Mr. Brown, Wheeler trade would never happen.
No. But
we've also, with Farhan, except 1 year that we don't count, have never been up by 12 games and we lose our best offensive player.
Yeah.
You got to do it.
Yeah, I think what Colt said too makes sense too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good trade, and I think we'll see how the season wraps up, and I appreciate everybody for joining. And you got any last thoughts, Lou?
No, we got to bounce back tomorrow somehow. Maybe give Snell a little support.
It would be good just to get him a win, just because I feel like it's just been rough for him. He pitched so well here, and he's only gotten like a couple wins, and one of them was a no-hitter, so he completely finished the game himself. So.
Hey, guys, I thought tonight the chat was super. After a tough L, way to show up. We'll definitely be back here tomorrow. Ryan, you're in control.
All right, I appreciate it. Thanks so much, guys.